what's really going on in Abuja? Minister Nyesom Wike has finally spoken after that heated clash between him and the military officers. He says the rule of law must stand and no one, absolutely no one, is above government authority. But here is the twist. Who truly owns the disputed land? And why did things get so intense between Wike and the military? Stay tuned because what Wike revealed will leave you speechless.
What was the problem? How can I sit as a minister? Government officials have been attacked. Government officials have been beaten up. Government officials to the level of directorship. Then I'm sitting in my office doing what? How will such officials carry out their functions again when they know their principal or their boss cannot protect them? Not as private individuals, as government officials. So many people have had problems. Chief Olusegun Obasanjo, former a general, former head of state, former president, he will call me on phone. Minister, I do go, there is a problem of life here. Please carry. I will solve the problem. That is former head of state, former elected president. We have the courtesy of calling the minister. Look, I have this problem. I have this problem. See how you can look into it. General Tiwa will call you. Look, that is this. These are people who, they're all retired generals. These are people who cause discipline. They didn't bother because they were former chief minister. They were former president. They never sent soldiers. They never sent anybody to go and attack anybody. They just call you. And respect the gas, respect. I have to respect. And I'll tell them, sir, don't worry. I will sort out the problem. And I will do. I won't even talk about other people who are highly placed. They will come to you. Mr. Minister, maybe we didn't know of this. If we knew, we would have done it like this. When a serving Major General attacked the development control, I wrote a letter. The President Chief of Defense Staff was Chief of Army Staff then. I wrote a letter, sir. Because that is a serving military officer. That if anything goes wrong, he's still under the authority, under the control of the military. When I came on board, before them, President Jonathan had awarded a contract to develop another city, which was close to the military, but awarded a contract, not me. A Federal Council presided over by the CNC. Awarded. The contractor went there, he was just away. I wrote a letter. We met. The late Chief of Army Staff, Alabangi, was there. The former Chief of Defense Staff was there. These same ministers of defense, they were all there. We all met. I said, look, it is not good, this government, I'm going there. I mean, it's not necessary we can resolve this matter. I never one day, I respect the institutions. And I know what it takes. Even as a governor, nobody, no governor will say that they supported the military that more than me. So I know. But how do you see a private individual knowing fully well that you are against the law? It is not military versus government. No. If it was military, I would have looked to them that look at military, why are you doing this? This is a private individual. Land was not allocated to him. Land was allocated to a company called Santos in 2007 for parks and recreation. They applied to the former minister for change of use. The minister refused. The man went, started selling land. Maybe the former chief of staff fell into their scam, sold. This is government property. This is not your property. If government officials came to say, look, what are you doing here now? This is not, government has sat under the ministerial committee and taken back every land under parks and even under secretariat, because we felt that there are a lot of delays, suits, litigations. We said, no, we won't continue with that. You send them to start beating government officials. Not private, but government officials, beating them. Senior government officials, you were beaten. You couldn't do this, okay? Let me get to the minister. See how he can help us, No, not like that. Simply because you had a relationship with the military. And government cannot enforce laws because you are attached or you had a relationship with a particular institution. Or you come from a particular place. Who does that? Who does such a thing? How will this country progress?
Doctor was acquired legally.
Because I carry neglect. Will you stop that?
I'm an integrity officer.
Will you stop that?
Sir, you cannot shut me up.
Get that way. Shut that.
You cannot shut me up.
Who does that?
You cannot shut me up.
Will you shut that?
You cannot shut me. I'm an integrity.
Get that way. I was in school when you
am acting on order, sir.
You are shut that.
Sir, you cannot shut
me up. You are
me
a big fool.
Sir, I'm not a fool.
You are a fool.
I am not a fool.
Shut up, will you stop?
I am not a fool.
You are a big fool.
I am not a fool.
You are coming close to me.
I am not a fool.
Because I'm an old man. I will just come out at it like idiot. You are telling me. Shut up, big fool. What the hell?
All right, everyone's cracking up here. Dr. Martin, that is AI generated. That's what we're talking about. AI.
No, this is very fake. It's AI. You, Dr. Martin, over to you.
Over to you. Right here when we discuss this story.
The first
please.
point to be made is that, look, this is very embarrassing.
Yes.
Yeah.
In the midst of whatever embarrassing situation, you will see the creativity of Nigerians coming through.
Yes.
Hence all these kits that Nigerians have created. Some are even selling T-shirts. I'm not a fool.
Yeah.
Yes.
They turned
There's
it into
wicked
business.
fabric out there. Dr.
However, the point needs to be made. I think the minister's behavior is very embarrassing. The way he conducted himself should be seen as a matter of serious concern by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who appointed him. Street fighting is not part of the responsibility of anybody that has been appointed by the president. Because I've heard some people saying that he was acting on behalf of the president. No, I'm not aware that President Tinubu, when he appointed him, gave him the title of Omonile of FCT. Because it's only Omoniles that behave like this. As minister of the FCT, he took the matter into his own hands. He said his officials went to the site and then they told him that they didn't allow them to chase them away. Then he left his office, carried his able-bodied officials and went to the site to go and do what?
Abuja.
So the minister himself did not follow due process.
Yes.
Yes.
And I've seen some people expressing the opinion that Officer Yerima was carrying out an unlawful order. With due respect, the Professor Horn, Sebastian Horn, quoting the Nigerian Air Force case and I think Onunzu versus State and all of that. Yes, Supreme Court has ruled that you don't carry out unlawful order when you are in uniform. You can say no. You should in fact say no. But in this particular case, we're told that the officer called his boss, called the chief of defense staff. So that in itself presupposes that he was acting in a lawful manner and not going on a frolic of his own. And in fact, that officer should be commended.
Yes.
Because he conducted himself with maturity. It was the minister in the video that I saw that was shouting, raising his hand, and this is being confirmed by some of the skits that have been produced. So I think that Minister Wike disgraced the assignment, the office of the president, to the extent that, the people arguing that he was acting on behalf of the president. We don't want Omonile as a minister of the Federal Capital Territory. Those who are familiar with the phrase Omonile, they know how Omoniles, how they behave. So this is a matter that should be investigated.
It is.
If it were another president in office, this is more than enough to ask the minister to go back to Port Harcourt.
Dr. Martin, you in government. Is there a ministerial code? That's the question I've been asking.
There is a general code of conduct now in terms of how public in terms of how public officials should behave.
Yeah.
Now look at Punch today. I think it's a front page story. ex-generals, they say they are angry.
Yes.
Because the ex-generals are saying, look, this has to do with the institutional integrity of the Nigerian military. All of them, without exception, the ones quoted in that story, they are saying that, in fact, Wike should be disciplined.
Right.
That he was involved in an act of indiscipline.
All right.
By taking the laws into his own hands.
Right.
Nobody is above the law.
All right.
And we should not further, disrupt civilian-military relations. What this has done is that if Wike insists on doing Omonile antics across the federal capital territory, other people will be emboldened to challenge him. I hope one day he will not go to his site to take the laws into his hands and they will rough handle him.
All right.
It can happen. This is Nigeria. Anything can happen.
Like you have rightly said, the reactions, however, haven't been entirely lighthearted. Retired military leaders have condemned Wike's language during the exchange, describing it as a national embarrassment, while the Defense Ministry has now launched an investigation into the incident. While speaking during a press briefing to commence activities for the 2026 Armed Forces Remembrance Day at the National Defense College in Abuja on Wednesday, the Minister of Defense, Mohammed Badaru, said the armed forces will not abandon any personnel carrying out unlawful duty.
Well, at the ministry and within the armed forces, we will always protect officers on lawful duty. So we are looking into this and be rest assured if any officer on lawful duty be protected. So we want anything to doing his job. He's doing his job incredibly well.
You're absolutely right, guys. I mean, the military has spoken. They are backing the naval officer at this point. Quick points before we wrap up.
Somebody just
yes.
said me, Dr.
Go ahead.
He said what you tell is Ajagungbale.
Right.
What does that mean?
What does that mean?
It's those that
Fight to get the land.
Right.
Ajagungbale says so.
We're also even hearing that Wike has reportedly.
They are all the same.
We're also even hearing that Wike has reportedly ordered a total ban on the use of mobile phones by staff of the Abuja Geographic Information Systems and the Department of Land Administration following that confrontation with the naval officers sparking pushback among workers who have called the move absurd and anti-labor.
This is a serious issue. We can laugh about it, but I think that there's a point, and that's why it was, before I was asking around code of conduct and whether or not he's overreaching. Let's call a spade a spade. He's overreaching and he's acting like an emperor, and that's why people have tagged him that. And the reason why people cannot even see anything wrong with what the military officer did is that there's just a general dislike of the manner in which he has carried out his duties. Later on, I hear today at 12 noon, he has another press briefing.
Oh, wow.
Or shall we say call to his chambers or court
to
come and, So I think it's important for the president to step in at this point.
This is it.
No other minister acting them. I know styles are different, but he's overreaching, and I think that he treated that man with a lot of dishonor and disregard. And it was not just the man, it was the uniform he was wearing.
No need to call an officer a fool.
Ministry officials
we have to go.
should ignore Wike's directive. Because it's an unlawful directive.
All right,